Okay, so it's recording locally for me now. Good, we'll get started then. Okay, so you didn't record Champion Select, so before we do anything, let's get into that. Did you first pick Riven, or did you pick Riven later in the draft? How exactly did that work?
I was going to pick Riven anyway.
Okay, so you just went into it thinking you're going to pick Riven regardless.
Yes.
Okay, and do you pick it for mid lane, or?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Just making sure.
But I will go top.
Okay, so you're top for this game?
Yes. I wanted to go mid.
Okay, so do you have your rune set up for top lane in this game, or are you still runed for mid lane? Let me take a look here.
No, I have standard rune page. I'm not going especially for certain matchups. Just going flat AD, armor, magic resist, and AD queens.
Okay, cool. No, that sounds okay. That's a solid standard page.
Is it?
Yes. Yeah, as long as you're comfortable, it's a solid standard page. That's fine. What ping are you actually at on most?
At most times? 70, 80.
Okay, 70, 80. All right. Just so I know, because there are some things with Riven that you can only do with really low ping. So I want to make sure that those are covered. Okay, so as far as this game goes, starting off pretty basically. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do at the beginning. Checking the blue buff was good. Just making sure where he's starting. It's weird that they stood out here and showed you that they were starting blue or Gromp, but...
It's probably gold 2 or...
Gold 2? Alright.
Or even lower.
Good to know. You have a Jarvan jungle, that's a little bit weird. Having Sivir ult's going to help a lot for you in team fights to be able to get to the flanks, which is good.
I'm not playing with locked camera, I'm just pressing spacebar.
Okay, no, that's good to know for sure. I think that's a really good mechanic to get used to. They're making some really severe mistakes here. The fact that they invaded your jungle is really bad, but the fact that you got first blood is awesome. I would hit the back button right now and get a second longsword. Like, I would have already hit the B button. Yeah, okay, good. So you went back and you got the longsword. Now the question is, do you TP back to lane? Because I think TPing back to lane is the pretty clear option here, but we'll see. Getting a ward is good. Much better than most players. You can tell that you're a little bit above your elo just by the fact that you bought that ward there. No, seriously, you'd be surprised. Now versus Wukong, Riven should have a pretty strong matchup in this lane, right? I mean, especially when you're up a longsword. Right now,
but I will be playing safe anyway.
Yeah, I think that you can definitely afford to play aggressively in this lane. Level 1, it's a little risky. I think as soon as I hit level 2, I would go in for a trade immediately, because you're going to hit level 2 early, because you got full XP in the first wave. And because you have the extra longsword, you should just be winning the trades. Yeah, exactly like that. Now, I'd go in for the Q, W auto, and then just sort of use your other 2 charges for maneuverability. Because Wukong has so many options to just go invisible and walk away. I would save at least a charge to try to get away in case the enemy jungler's around.
I was going to take Udyr.
Yeah, so you're going after Udyr here. Now this is a little bit weird to me.
Yes,
you just walked into their jungle.
Yes,
I think that trying to look for Udyr here is okay, but you know for a fact he started blue, which is why I think it's a pretty huge mistake. Because we watched him start blue, or well, he wanted to start blue, right? So the odds that he came back here and started it is pretty high. And we had no ward coverage on it to know exactly where he is. So I think that the percentage it's pretty high that he's going to start this blue buff, which means that at 3 minutes, he's going to be at his own golems, or he's going to be like pressuring a lane. So, or he might be doing scuttle crab. So there's like those 3 options, none of which put him in this area of the map.
Yes, I understand it after I watched this game.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yep. That's okay. No, that's why we watch, right? That's why we're watching replays, is to try to find things like this. So this type of decision is really, it's a really valuable play. I think this play could go super well for you, especially if you find low HP Udyr at Wolves. That's a kill for sure. Maybe not for sure because you don't have Ignite, but at least it's a flash that you'll get out of him. So that's really good. Now, I don't remember if he flashed at level 1, but if he did, then this is a for sure kill, if he's here. But knowing he started blue, the fact that he showed you so clearly that he was going to start blue before the invade, means you had the information necessary to not invade here. But making that decision was a little bit of a
I
mistake.
was thinking he will be afraid to start blue since we were in this in top side of this park jungle.
Yeah, that's what I like to call not playing to your opponent. Now, you need to consider the elo that you're playing at now. Now, your personal knowledge might be above this level, which is what you're exhibiting. I mean, you're very clearly thinking more than a gold 2 generally does. So you're thinking a little bit ahead of them. If a gold 2 player is willing to stand out front of his blue buff, you know that you're around gold 2 MMR, you should just assume that they're not going to make like the super advanced play, which is to go to red buff. That is the better start. You're right. But knowing that he was so willing to show you where he was starting, and that they made the bad decision to go to your red buff for some reason, keeping both those decisions in account, we need to assume that their Udyr just isn't very good. We need to assume that he is going to be making mistakes this whole game, and that he is thinking about this game fairly linearly. So he's not going to be changing up his patterns very often, which is now even more drilled in by the fact that his blue buff isn't here. This guy is going to make really standard decisions for the majority of the game, and you should keep that in mind, because he's not changing his strategy based on the information he gives to you. So at the very least, finding this blue buff not here, and that he started blue, should be evidence to that. So yeah, while you're here, you might as well take the big wolf. I think that's good. I hope you don't clear the camp. I hope you just kill the big wolf.
I don't remember. Probably I cleared this.
That's okay if you do, but I think it's slightly better not to versus the Udyr, because he can kill the camps so quickly. Killing one of his camps actually isn't a huge deal because of how fast he can get to another camp, so it doesn't hurt him that bad. Whereas leaving the little wolf would be a huge detriment to him.
Yes, and I will go for grab here.
Yeah, that's a good grab. It's really solid. It lets you play super aggressively onto Wukong.
I still will be too passive in this lane.
Yeah. Once you get to crab, you can afford to play incredibly aggressive, especially against something like Udyr, who just can't go any other way. You've covered all his gank paths with wards, so right there you could have easily stunned, gotten an auto in. Yeah.
Yes, now I know about how to play this matchup better.
Yeah.
But, at that point, I was too afraid to face Wukong.
What are his items, I wonder? I don't know if he went back and purchased or not yet.
Yes, he didn't.
Okay, so he's only Flask right now. Yeah, I would be punishing him like this as much as I could. As soon as I level up there, I think I go back in. And knowing you are going to level up is really important. That's something you should keep an eye on as Riven, because your level ups give you so much more damage in these trades. They're so much more damage. I would strongly, if you're going to play passive in the lane, it really depends on how you're playing for Riven. If you think that you play this matchup again and you want to play more aggressive, I'd recommend keeping the same skill order. But if you're playing passively, like you are in this game, I'd say max E. Because if you're just trying to farm and you're just trying to get through the lane to where you can hyper carry, or with like a CS advantage, I'd recommend maxing E, because it makes Wukong's trades impossible. Like, he can just never get a good trade on you because you just E away immediately whenever he dashes to you, and you block the majority of his upfront damage, which is how he's gonna win lane. Especially in the matchup like this. Like I said, since you're playing passively. Backing here is a little strange. I don't think I would back here. Just because you have teleport in 30 seconds. which is really important. And I don't
Yes.
think you're going to be using it to gank bottom, especially versus Wukong, because of how hard he's pushing into you. So you have actually enough health to maybe stay for a wave or two and then teleport back to lane and miss a little bit less CS. So that's something to keep in mind. I definitely think you could have survived, but if you didn't feel comfortable, then that's fine.
He, I don't know. He probably get his level 6 after that wave. That's why I decided to recall.
I don't think he would get level 6 there. I mean, you're almost level 5. He's not a full level on you. He's maybe half a
No,
level.
he's level 5.
Yeah, he's level 5 probably.
I roamed to Faudir in early, and it mitigates my XP.
Yeah, advantage.
Yes.
Yeah, no, definitely. That hurts for sure. I don't think he was going to hit 6 off that wave, though, but that's okay. Um, you probably had a better feel of the game than I do currently, so that's totally fine. I do think the roam, losing a level advantage as Riven's a pretty big deal. Having one is the big deal, actually.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why I was talking about my bad decision
Hmm.
Faudir early.
Yeah. So rushing Brutalizer is good if you're playing aggressive, which we'll see if that changes here in the near future. I assume once you hit 6, you're going to try for some all-in play, which is Brutalizer is really good for. If you're not going to go for that all-in play and you're playing safely, Tabby is a really good option versus Wukong. Um,
I almost never buy any boots except CDR.
if you're playing aggressively, that's really good. I CDR definitely the most damage out of boots and help you a lot in lane, makes it a little bit smoother. I like Tabby personally, especially versus Wukong, since so much of his damage is auto attack based. His Q reset is mainly that's his main lane harassment. Um, so
I'm
his
going for Tabby only if top mid or top jungle going for AD champs.
Mhm.
So it's like only one AP damage source.
Yeah, I really think that Tabby in general is an underrated item. He went pickaxe, so I mean even more so. But Tabby will just completely shut down a lane, especially as Riven. You need to keep in mind how high your base damages are. They're just so high. And you scale with very little AD extremely effectively. So having, if you ever get a level advantage, or you're in a lane like Wukong, it can give you a lot of control over the lane if you're playing passively to have a Ninja Tabby. It's a little bit of a different play style because you can't be as aggressive, but when you're playing defensively, which you are in this lane, um, Tabby can take away any type of threat from the opposing player and allow you to focus on farming and winning trades. So if you're less all in heavy, if that makes sense, if you're less willing to just all in and try to go for a kill, um, then Tabby are generally better.
Yes, I was playing Riven with.
That was good. That was really good.
No, it wasn't good. Wukong did a mistake, and I
Oh,
finished.
yeah. Wukong doing the mistake was really poor, but your ability to knock him back into tower range with your Q, I think, was really important. Um, whenever he all-ins you right here, you stun him under turret range, obviously, but the third Q that knocks him back under tower was really valuable. That was like right there, where you actually make him take an extra tower shot. That was a really solid play. I think you would have killed him anyway with ultimate, but that doesn't change that the play was good. Yeah. Anyway, regardless, because you got that kill, you can just start going incredibly aggressive. I would poke in on that Udyr even. I mean, he's not that healthy, and you know he's going to Gromp. I think I would have maybe jumped this wall down here and tried to pressure him at Gromp a little bit and make the Udyr a little uncomfortable rather than pushing out this wave. Because you don't gain a whole lot by pushing out this wave. You could still make it back in time to catch this wave, and we know that Wukong has teleport, so making it would make good use of your time to go down there and pressure Udyr a little bit. Maybe not all in him, but at least let him know that you know where he is, like get in his head a little bit. That mind game as Riven can be really valuable, especially against a player like, or yeah, a player like Udyr, who has exhibited weak play already this game. Yeah, you can see situations like that where maxing W would just be really solid. Um, Although, I think it looks like you're going to survive here. Yeah, it's good. That was a good gank by Jarvan as well. He almost died though. It could have gone really poorly, I think, but you guys managed to get out. Okay, so that's solid. I think you should definitely be looking to go back like as soon as possible. I think I would have gone back before even before that fight to try to use my gold. You had like 1400 gold after the kill, so if you aren't going to pressure Udyr, you should just go back to base and then teleport back. Walking all the way back here is good.
Probably Jarvan pinged for gank, so I decided to stay. That's why I didn't recall after kill.
Mm-hmm. Well, even further
ninja
back.
tag, lol.
See, it's good. Even further back, before Jarvan pinged for a gank, I think I would have backed. Like right after you killed Wukong, because the wave was gonna return to neutral. And if the waves are returning to neutral, that actually benefits you pretty largely. Because if you're ahead any type of gold, or at levels or anything, you just destroy this lane. Like you'll punish Wukong super hard. So I wouldn't want to push the lane out. Knowing he has teleport, I would just let the lane go neutral, go back to base, buy, and come back and fight him again by yourself with upgraded items. Item breakpoints are really huge on Riven, so I think that would help. But regardless, you're winning the lane, so that's what matters. At this point, I'd be looking for TP's bot lane a lot more, because you have so much control over your own lane that Wukong's terrified of you, right? So he's probably going to either try to freeze, which would be the smart play. He'll freeze this wave, or he's going to push because he's gold 2, and then you just kill him over and over again. So yeah, he's gold 2. That's what we've established. And now we're going to kill him over and over and over again, right? I hope you kill him over and over and over again.
Probably I will die here.
I think you could have killed Wukong. You're not going to die, but... Oh, you do die. Fuck. Damn. No, that was really close. Your E was almost up. I think that if you would have ulted, you would have won. I mean, you would have definitely been able to turn that. And you might have gotten a double kill, actually, if you would have just ulted. You have to keep in mind that your ulti increases the size of your shield from your E, too. So sometimes it's better to use it defensively. And it increases the AoE of your W, so your stun's wider. So it could have... Actually, you definitely would have lived there. But whether or not you would have turned it for kills is another question. Yeah, just some minor mechanical issues there. That wasn't any huge mistake. I'm curious whether you could have turned and just killed Wukong and then ran from Udyr, but it would have been close without Ignite, so it's hard to say. Luckily you have teleport, so it shouldn't be too bad. I wonder... So you have a really tough decision. This is a really hard decision. Because it's whether you save top, or salvage top, or you get a double kill bottom. Now, I think personally bottom's the better decision before I see what you make. Just because Nautilus is there. So you will have CC to back you up. You'll at least get the kill on Ashe. It won't even be close. And whether or not you kill Leona is up for debate. And we know Udyr isn't down there 100%. So bot lane is definitely the best decision. I would have TP'd to that ward, but you missed it, so you got to TP to this one up here, which isn't that bad. So I'm hoping that that's where you teleport to. Nope. All right, and that's okay. Oh, that ult would have been so juicy though. Okay, well, going top, you salvaged the turret. That's good. I don't think he was going to get it anyway, because this wave was resetting, but it's better safe than sorry sometimes, especially if you're not sure. Jarvan getting a kill middle is really solid. Now you know Udyr's dead, so you should just be, like, destroying this Wukong. I'd push out this wave. I wouldn't even hit the turret. I think that it's a little bit underrated on Riven pushing the wave right now in this situation. I see a lot of Rivens hit the turret, and I honestly feel like you can kill that wave so fast, and if you have that much control, you have serious kill threat on the Wukong, and he's unable to walk up to this turret without minions.
Huh.
Also, you're not gonna the turret's gonna die regardless if you push out this wave. So if you push out that wave and you push Wukong back a little bit, he's not gonna walk into 10 minions plus Riven, and if he does, then that's a kill. Like, you should kill him. So I think minor misplay on your end as far as the decision making of defending that turret or taking that turret. Like, not the end of the world or anything, but it's something to think about. Looking around the map, it looks like they're going for Dragon, and we are unable to contest. So Wukong's going to have that damage boost here shortly, which is important to realize. He is the highest AD scaling of any champion in the game. I think it's like 4.1 or something to 1, or 4 to 1. AD scaling, so that's a really important buff for him, actually. It might not seem like the 6% is that crazy for little fights, but especially versus Wukong because of how hard he scales off AD. If they get a Dragon, you need to consider that. So do you always play the game without being able to understand your teammates? Is that a normal thing?
Yes. Yeah, this server, yes.
Okay. I was just curious because everything is seemingly boxes, and you can't understand what your team's saying at all. That can be good or bad for people. If you find yourself getting angry often, it can help you, for sure. But some people really strive for that communication. They can't play without it. So
here, players didn't tell any useful information, only about your parents, etc.
Yeah. Okay, so since you got the Dragon buff and they didn't, you should just whoop on Wukong now. Like, I really feel like there were a lot of options this game that were more aggressive.
Yes, I was trying new Black Cleaver this game.
Okay. I've heard that's actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm still not sure. I played around 10-20 games with Black Cleaver and didn't like it.
I think the build path's a little bit long for Riven. It takes away some of her power spike. That's pretty much it. It definitely makes her mid game better, but like I said, your power spike is really what you want to work off of on Riven. So when you complete your brutalizer, when you complete your first major item, whatever you decide for that to be, whether it's Ghostblade or like a BF sword or something, this guy's just making horrible mistakes. Yeah, that was really bad by them. You are reaping this really well, though. I think that ulti was good. Oof. Will you live? You should live. I'd be mashing Q. Wow, that was really patient. I expected that Q to come out faster. But you lived. That's good. I can't believe that Jarvan cleaned that up. That's impressive. Jarvan's playing really well this game. I think he pressured the mid lane enough that you actually didn't have that much pressure on your shoulders, which, I mean, can be a good and a bad thing. I don't know. I feel like your lane was a lot easier as a result of Jarvan. I'm curious as to whether this type of passive play would have worked out as well if he hadn't given you the attention. I don't know if it would have. I think that playing this passive while leveling Q is almost always a mistake. Just because, but when you're leveling Q, you want to be playing super aggressively. And I know we've already covered that you played a little bit too passive, but I think that the mistake in that case isn't playing passively, it's leveling your Q instead of your E. You got to change your skill order based on your gameplay, like how you plan on playing the lane. Because Riven is a lucky character. She gets to make that decision. It's not forced on her. She can pick whichever one she wants. Yeah, I just noticed that you play a really trade heavy style rather than an all in style, so E would help you a lot. You'd see your win percentage go up for sure. Just based on how you play. I would TP bottom right now. That TP's so juicy. Okay, good. Perfect. I want to see if you ult right away this time. Good. Okay, I'm really happy to see that because the last, or what was it,
Right.
2 fights ago, you didn't ult early enough. So, um, yeah, you kind of get ganked there. I don't think that that was a bad decision though. I think that that was a good engage. Um, just things went a little bit wrong and ended up working out for your team. I don't think that that was in general a mistake. You might have gone a little bit too far in, hungry on the Ash, but I think the decision making was sound. I wish that you guys had a little bit better ward coverage there from your team, but you would have been able to make a more educated decision. But I think you played the majority, so. Now, looking at this Wukong, I really think that the fights between you and him are gonna turn out based on who gets the first hit. So like if he gets in on you and EQ ults you, I think you're gonna have a really tough time winning that fight after that. But if you get the engage on him and get like a Q stun or an E stun on him, you should win that fight then after that, assuming you have ultimate. You both just so bursty that whoever blows their load first is going to win this fight top lane. I would actually really consider after Black Cleaver, I would get a QSS this game, and then Mercurial Scimitar really early, or as early as I could. It's a little bit weird, but
No,
they have,
no, I totally agree with it.
yeah, they have Ashe and Malzahar, as
And
well as it just being a solid item. Mercurial Scimitar gives you a lot of AD.
not about. I'm agree with QSS, not about finishing.
Oh, I don't think you should finish it right away. I just mean that it's a solid item to build into on Riven. Like it's sixth item when you finish it. It's really
Yes.
good. But no, I think that you should probably get the QSS early this game.
Ugh.
So they're looking for teamfight Wombo with their Wukong, and they're getting it. So that's a really huge problem. That's not one that you can really avoid. I think I would have stayed top and just pushed down the turret and traded the turrets here. Riven is just really weak in this scenario. Like this is why Riven isn't played a lot, is because of this exact point in the game. Whenever 5 players start to group and take your mid turret, there's next to nothing that Riven offers in this fight. It takes so much to go right for you to make a play here. So we're gonna see, but I don't think that this type of play nets positive results the majority of the time. I think that going top lane and taking that turret is a guarantee, and at worst trades 1 turret for 2, and at best you get an inhib turret. So wow, you got heal out of Ashe. That was questionable. But at least you got it, so it doesn't matter. Getting a kill, that pushed you a little bit further ahead. Your team fell really behind.
Wait a moment, please. Okay, I'm here.
Okay. So you are going to this red buff. I don't know if I would have. I would be backing, definitely. Because I want to finish Black Cleaver. I want to start building into my new items. And you have 2,000 gold to work with. So I think the backing immediately was the decision making here as soon as that push ends. And it allows you to be at Dragon with your new items. Whereas now you're arriving at Dragon a little bit weaker than you would have otherwise. And you're floating a lot of gold. So maybe, wow, that was really good. Okay, that combo was really solid from Oriana. Well,
I don't remember, but probably they are premates.
yeah, that looked like the Oriana's ult started before Jarvan landed, so I'm assuming they're a duo queue. That was really solid, actually, for gold. So, yeah, you need to back and buy items really bad, dude.
I will go
Yeah.
and show off top.
I think that that's a huge problem so far. This is the second time in the game that you have floated a lot of gold, and instead just kind of wandered around a little bit. Now, I don't think that it's the end of the world, but it's definitely an improvement that can be made, right? I mean, going back and reaching your spikes is really important. I can explain that a little bit more after the game, but yeah. Anyway, so what are you trying to build second here in this case? Like, what are you saving gold for right now?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Probably I will go Hydra after.
Okay, what is your normal build? Like when you're not trying Black Cleaver?
Uh, Brutalizer. And also I'm playing more aggressively. I'm going for Brutalizer, CDR Boots, Tiamat, Last Whisper. Sometimes if I have enough gold to finish Yomumus, I'm going for it instead of Last Whisper.
Okay. Yeah, I think the deciding factor between Ghostblade and Last Whisper is mostly about how early in the game you get it. If you're destroying lane, getting the Last Whisper is really effective, clearly, getting the Ghostblade is really effective, clearly, because people just have less armor. And that's just it's a really good item. That is a really bad fight for your team. You guys should flee. Although picking up the Leona might not be that bad. She's really extended. Ooh, walking to the Leona. Yeah, that was tough. Getting caught like that was really bad. You definitely had your ward trinket up, so placing the ward in the bush would have helped your entire team avoid that, but...
Yes,
yeah.
I was going for it, but Wukong jumped on me, so
Yeah.
I decided to E backwards instead of going enough close forward.
Yeah, well, where is it at? I want to actually see the point where you walk up. So, everybody's pinging, and you see Udyr walk in. You pretty much know that this bush is a danger zone right now. Walking up to it is a little bit preemptive, I think, because looking at your minimap, you still have 2 members in base that can't get to you, and Sivir does not have ultimate. So this fight, it would take so much for this fight to go well, but actually you didn't have your warding trinket up yet, which is strange. Yeah, so you put your ward trinket, your ward trinket wasn't quite up yet, which stinks. As soon as I see Wukong E out of that bush, I think I flash out. I don't even think I E. You definitely want to get out of this scenario as soon as possible, because you know Wukong's going to hit his R button regardless. Like, this guy is in a perfect position to ultimate. I think I would ult out here and then try to jump back in. I'm not sure if you can queue over this wall, the Wraith wall, but I know you could at least get back into the fight over this wall if you have to, once the ulti's over. And you would save about half your HP bar here. So then being able to go back in, you would be able to pressure a little bit harder, I think. I don't know if it would have saved the game or anything, but I think it was a slightly better flash than this one.
Yeah.
But hey, it's not a huge mistake. It's just walking towards the bush was the primary mistake there, I think, not anything during the fight. Your mechanical play has been really solid. The main mistakes that I'm recognizing have been decision-making mistakes, or mistakes that you're just not pushing your advantage as hard as you could. So, yeah, that's most of what I'm seeing as of right now. Let's see. This game goes a lot longer. Wow. I thought that this game was almost over.
Sivir was dying too much.
Yeah.
She had like 4 Doran's blades.
That is really awful. Okay. Looking at this. Now, you're spending a lot of time standing still typing at this point, which is obviously not recommended.
For my...
Oh, you lost this fair. Okay, cool. Good. Glad you got the
I'm
last
trying
fair.
to say something only when I'm at base.
At this point, I think that Wukong's score is really good, right? Like, I think he's pretty fed. I'm trying to remember exactly which kills he got.
A few minutes ago, you can...
Yeah, we'll see if you hit tab here in a second, hopefully. But this should be an easy kill, good. At least you did something to try to turn the gold back into your favor. Shrevin's ganks have been really effective this game. He's had a lot of ganks go right. Yeah, I definitely think I like T-Mat early better than Black Cleaver. It just gives you way more burst power when dealing with like a squishy target. So right now Udyr's getting really scary. He's building Trinity Force though, which is a huge mistake. So I mean, once you identify that he's building Trinity Force, you should realize that you guys have the late game. They just have D gates. So good. 3 kills. I just would never fight Udyr ever again. Would be my mentality right now as Riven. I would try to be on the opposite side of the map to Udyr at all times, pretty much. I mean, if you're pushing another lane, there's not a lot they can do. I would just TP down to Sivir almost and push that wave out. You might be able to get that turret if you pinged Sivir. Yeah, you guys probably could have gotten that.
I pinged.
Yeah, I think if you would have TP'd and Sivir would have pushed, that was an easy inhib turret. And you force them to not push into your jungle right now, which really helps. Although this push is solid, I think you should push this wave out. That's pretty much the best you could do at this point once you've already not gone bottom. That's good. I'd go back though. Oof, Ashe is right there. Okay. Their whole team is chasing you now, which is good. You should just keep them chasing you as long as possible, because they are making huge mistakes. You still have, oh, you don't have flash. That was a good TP. Really good TP. Your team went in, which I think is a huge mistake. They went in after you had teleported out, which is pretty massive mistake, and is probably going to give the enemy team Baron. But with everybody down, the best you can do is try to pick someone, like Ashe or something. Oh, Sivir got her. You could probably pick Mouse here, actually. Good. Damn. Good job. That was really good. We'll see. Consider.
No, Sivir.
Did she not have IE yet? Damn. What is her build? I wish I could see it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so she has IE. She had IE and Avaris. I mean, honestly, she had really bad RNG there. She didn't crit a single time. It's weird that she got Brutalizer. I mean, she has a bad build, but she definitely could have killed them there with some RNG. Yeah, this game is going. It's going into a spot where Riven has very little power in this type of game. Riven really strives at staying ahead once she's ahead and getting ahead. But when she's behind, or in a team fighting matchup like this, where you have Orianna, Jarvan, like you have a massive team fight, but you also have Riven, which is actually just so bad. So split push would be my advice for this game. Just split push as hard as you can and try to force pressure away from your team, because your team is losing to Wukong ult, honestly. If you can draw Wukong to a separate lane, your team is going to win the 4v4 with their Wombo combo. But we'll see if that's how this plays out. Sivir does Ashe again. Yeah, Sivir seems really tilted at this point. Like massively tilted. Hopefully that she gets her head on straight by the end. I noticed that you're not really doing anything with your time. You spend a lot of time wandering through the jungle, kind of taking camps, which I can only attribute to you not really being sure what to do. So if you're in a situation where you're not sure like where you should be on the map, you just kind of default to clearing jungle camps, I've noticed. And that can actually be a mistake because you're hurting your jungler's path. You're taking away his gold instead of using your own gold, which is in the lane. Um, and as well, you're not really accomplishing anything. I mean, you're not pushing the game forward. Ooh, taking that blue buff I think was really bad. Orianna could use that a lot.
It was not on purpose.
Yeah. You guys should kill her here. I think flashing on her was the play. Flash E stun, like just one shot that Ashe. Like this. Yeah. Sort of like that. Except 5 seconds ago. So this fight's really good for you guys.
When she saw me, she instantly flashed out. I didn't have so good reaction to flash for her flash.
Yeah, I definitely think you had a second at least.
Yes, I saw her and I ult
Yeah,
almost
right here.
Immediately. After that, what? Ult.
Yeah, so you had like
But here,
3
my
seconds.
E will come up here, yes.
Yeah, okay, so now you can.
She flashed.
Yeah,
So
I think that you could have gone faster, but it's not, like I said, yeah, you're right. You got it anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. You could have gone faster though. Whatever, you might have gotten Mouse, I'm not sure. But anyway, regardless, I hope you guys go straight to Baron. You just killed two of their massive threats. Their main engage tool, and you killed their Ashe, which is obviously the most of their damage. Baron seems like the call that ends the game here, but it looks like you guys are opting for the inhib. The problem with going for the inhib rather than the Baron, actually it depends on death timers. You might as well make it Baron anyway. But anyway, I think I would rather the Baron first because I want to just guarantee that I get it. Because Baron right now is so hard for the enemy team to deal with. They have so little wave clear. Between, like, they have a Wukong top, which has to be in melee range to clear the wave, and they have a Malzahar who's just really bad at it. So if you have Baroned up minions, you guys are going to be able to siege turrets really effectively because they have, like, very little to stop you from sieging.
So it was better if we did Baron first and then go for mid tower.
Yeah, I would say get the Baron and then just get control over the enemy's camps and get ward coverage. So I think that your play was fine because you guys ended up with Baron, but it also incorporated this fight that's happening right now. Like, this fight never happens if you go Baron first, which is a good thing because this fight's really bad for you guys. Like, you guys have no ultimates, you're all running away, and you're probably going to lose one at least. So going for the Baron first, healing, buying items, and then going for the push. Like, spending that gold you just earned, using the Baron buff, and just pushing down turrets without them being able to answer you is a lot safer and a higher win percentage play. But from the looks of things, Ori's just stalling them forever. Holy shit. She ran for a long time. Your mid wave's pushing, they have to back. You should look at when Dragon's gonna be up. I'm not sure. It should be like 3 minutes, I bet. Yeah, my next goal right now, I think your mentality should immediately be, when is Dragon coming up, and how exactly can I help win the game? Because right now as Riven, you have a very specific win condition, right? I mean, your win condition is push side lanes until you take backdoor things. Because you shouldn't be team fighting versus this team without QSS, like, at all. You shouldn't even be near them. You're just going to get CC'd and then one shot. So split pushing, taking away some of their wombo combo is really valuable. And identifying that as a win condition is really important to playing Riven and ending games. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If you had QSS, I think you might be able to squeak by in team fights. It sort of adds that win condition, which is why I think it's an important buy. But not buying it, there's still a way to win. You just have to make sure you identify it. So right now you're doing exactly what I mentioned, which is good. and your team has the Baron buff on the top side, which is like, they should be getting turrets for free too.
I was too greedy.
Yeah, that was a little bit greedy. That's pretty much it. But your team is making plays on the other side of the map. It's actually not that big a deal because of that. So you kind of got lucky that your team was able to make things happen. They almost got that turret too. Shit.
They took this tower.
Yeah, they almost got the other one too. Is what I was saying. It's really low on HP.
And
yeah, everyone died. That's an avoidable series of deaths, but didn't impact the game in any major way. It just slowed down your win, I think. I didn't check how many dragons you guys have. You only have one, I think. Maybe two.
I have 2 dragons.
Oh, 2. It's in the bottom left, yeah. You have 2. So, I mean, the next one coming up's a really big deal. Should be any minute now. You guys don't have a timer on it, though. I'm not sure if anyone typed it in the chat.
No, nobody.
But knowing at least your team knows dragons soon, and they identified that it's your next objective. So that's solid. Hopefully you think. Wait, where did you place your pink ward?
In behind our blue buff bush.
Oh, okay, I see. Ooh, that's a really bad steal. That actually hurts you guys a lot, not having that movement speed. With Sivir, that movement speed can be crucial, but I don't think it ends the game either. I think it just sets you behind again. This game, you guys are in a pretty solid position as far as winning this game. I mean, your team composition is just far better, and Udyr is just a terrible champion, so that's pretty much all there is to it. They're losing this game based on champ select. I think you played your lane, at least remotely. You played your lane one of 2 ways, which are correct. Yeah, so I don't think that your laning phase is an issue at all, especially if you were just trying out a new build for this game. I think that your laning phase is probably like really strong, just knowing the matchups.
It was my second time versus Wukong.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be going mid here, actually. I think there's a high percentage chance that this area is warded. I mean, the odds that there is a ward here are incredible. Like they know you're here. You should assume they can see you when you're standing here, especially when they're pushed this far up. Also, I don't think that in this fight you're going to have a whole lot of impact. So it might be better to be pushing this top lane and pressure it and force them away, like I talked about a little bit ago.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I want to see how it plays out. There's a chance it can go right. Oh, and you ended up sweeping it, but I still think that it's better to assume that you're in vision there, unless you've just swept it. Yeah, it's just so hard for you to get in. Like, you want to be on that Ashe, but it takes a flash to even get there. You made it around the side. This is really good. The game should be over, right? You just killed them all. Hopefully. Yeah. Okay, so now you kill every player on their team and end the game, right? Is that how this ends? Yay. So now they're all dead for like 20 to 30 seconds. You should get 2 inhibs out of this, mate. Maybe an inhib and you prep Baron, potentially. You get red buff. How long until Ashe was alive? I didn't see. You're running kind of short on time. Okay. Kill the inhib and then go straight to red buff, I think would be my decision. We know that red buff's alive because we just had a word on it a minute ago. And at least it takes some objective from them. And then you can go back and you can push top with TP available. So I think that would be my decision there. Going top lane isn't bad. I just think you could have done it anyway, and you could have done it with red buff, which is always better. Going back to base, spending your gold. That's good. I hope you get a QSS.
I don't remember.
No. Yeah, okay. You scared me for a second, but we're good.
No, I just it's faster for me to
Yeah, you just clicked the
get my
BF sword
item
first, and
in
I was like, no! I was like, don't get the BF sword. It's not
just
worth it.
like this list of items.
Yeah. You just scared me, that's all. Not a big deal. Okay, so moving forward. This final team fight should be pretty clear cut. I mean, you guys are in a distinct advantage. At this point, losing is pretty difficult. I think buying the pot was a really valuable decision. You'll see a lot of return from that pot as Riven because you kill so many people. I think that that's really underrated, that it resets if you get a kill.
No, I'm buying it faster as I can.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I think at this point in the game, you can actually afford to flash engage with your W. To like flash W on pretty much anybody on their whole team and have it turn out okay. Because you guys are so strong. Yeah, just anybody. Shred them. You used Ghost Blade. This is all really good. And the game's over. Awesome. I think you definitely played the late game really effectively. I also think that it was a result of their mistakes that you were so effective in those team fights. But the way you took the opportunities that you were given was good, if that makes sense. So you exploited their mistakes, but and that's a good thing. But it's also they made mistakes, and that's why it was possible, right? In general, I think knowing to play aggressively is really important to take away from it as far as like a footnote goes. Being able to know your matchups effectively. So versus Wukong, obviously you learned that after that match. Less experimentation with builds against new matchups. So if you had, let's say, gone Tiamat this game, having...
It was better.
Yeah, it would have been slightly better, and you maybe would have just been more comfortable, period, which, I mean, is always good. So that combined with your itemization and in the mid game, I really think you could split push more in games like this in particular. Because in a lot of cases, even in the late game fights where you were landing kills, I feel that your team could have landed some of those picks alone. So just with Jarvan, Ori, Sivir, and Nautilus ult, like they just have so much 4v4 power that split pushing and forcing Wukong down or forcing Malzahar down to you can make this game a lot faster. Can make it just end way sooner. And also, I mean, if they choose to ignore you, it just lands you objectives. There's almost no downside to it as Riven. So that's something to definitely consider. Now, that's not going to be every game. It's really important to know what your team comp is capable of and your team comp's win conditions. Which, in this case, I mean, your win condition is team fighting with your Wombo combo and Riven split push. Or 5 dragons. It's pretty much your two win conditions. Baron doesn't even really win you games with this comp because of you guys are pretty bad at sieging as a composition. You don't have a lot of ability to take those turrets from long range or poke them over time because of Sivir's short attack range. In general, this comp is really good. Once you've identified the win composition or win conditions, and make sure that all your decision making is in pursuit of those win conditions. That is something that you could take from that and you can use to make better decisions in the future. Because you clearly have the capacity to make the proper decisions. It's really obvious in your gameplay that you know what you're doing as Riven and you're really comfortable. So just making sure that your decision making is pushing towards how to actually win is something that a lot of people glaze over and they don't take as seriously as they should. Your teleports this game, would be another topic. I think that your teleports overall were good. There were a few that were a little bit late. I see you don't pull the trigger as fast as you could sometimes. So that might just be a lack of being comfortable in that situation using TP over Ignite. So
Yes, I was, as I said, I was playing Riven with Ignite mostly.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, because you said you're a mid Riven mainly. So I would assume that you're not used to having to teleport down for plays. Um, with that in mind, I think you did a really good job with the teleport. I
Yes,
saw that. Sorry, go ahead.
this game was in May, so it's like 2 months ago. Now I using teleport better.
Okay, good. Do you still play Riven mainly mid though?
Mostly I'm playing Yasuo these 2 months.
Okay. If you're playing champions like that middle, do you tend to run Ignite or do you run a defensive summoner on Yasuo?
On Yasuo, I'm going for Ignite.
Okay.
I was trying a lot. I'm playing Yasuo since his release and constantly watching top players with it, trying things like exhaust, cleans, heal, barrier, almost everything, and I find for yourself I can play it only with Ignite. I just can't play it with other spells.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to suggest that if you do play Yasuo with Ignite often, to give Exhaust a shot. I think that Exhaust is the best summoner for Yasuo personally. But if, like I said, it's a game feel thing. If you're like you said that you've tried it and you're not comfortable with it, that's fine. But I was just going to suggest you give it a shot.
I
It's
find
really strong.
I just can't utilize exhaust well.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Do you max E or Q on Yasuo?
I'm depends from situation. If I it's a very long story about how I'm maxing my Q or E
Yeah, no,
with
that's good. That's
Yasuo.
the answer I wanted actually. Is that you switch it up between matchups, so that's good. You should switch it up based on your opponent.
I was arguing with Diamond 1 Yasuo player about what is better to max on Yasuo. I was trying to explain why almost in any range matchup better to max E.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I agree a lot. I think that maxing E is
But
severely underrated by most Yasuo players.
yes, even after his Q nerf, when leveling up Q is not giving him lower cooldown,
Yeah.
I was playing with E because it's obvious you don't need to max Q now. You will take only same amount of damage, but E will lower your cooldown for dashes. But when
Gives you more
he
shield too, mitigates more damage.
yes, but mm, he said that you can't use your E 2 times in a short window for damage. So if you go into all in on your opponent and or even fight 2 versus 1, I mean 1 versus 2 when enemy jungler comes, so it's better to max Q because in these 5 seconds you can use your Q like 3 times, so it will give you more damage.
It's more damage in like the skirmishes, but it's a lot stronger in the lane phase. It also does a lot more damage per use.
Yes, and
if
you
you stack
can
it up.
shove lane faster with Z.
Yep, it gives you a lot more lane control. I think that if you're switching between matchups, then you at least have some understanding, and the fact that you're thinking critically about that decision is important. So as long as you're considering it based on matchup, I'm not going to go through every matchup, obviously. just, E versus the matchups where you want to mitigate more damage, and Q in the matchups where you feel you can harass with it. So like the melee matchups or short ranged mages that you feel you can pressure.
Yes, once I did a very big mistake when I was not facing Akali very often at mid. I was trying to go E at level 1 versus Akali.
Oh,
After
that's
that,
gonna go really poorly.
yes.
That's gonna go
After
bad.
that, I never do same mistake in any matchup.
Okay. Cool. All right, so I'm going to stop recording for this session,
Okay.
and then we can talk a little bit after the recording ends. Okay?
Yes.